Welcome to the Daily Dish with New York Times bestselling author Leanne Ely. Putting vibrancy back into your everyday life and feeding your heart, mind, body, and soul. Join us every day at 1 p.m. Eastern for Motivational Monday, Tuesday's Tip, Wise Woman's Wednesday, Thirsty Thursday, Food Fight Friday, and of course Q&A, where no question is off limits, and Soulful Saturday. Here is your host, Leanne Ely, and the Daily Dish.
I was having a little dance off all by myself. Hello, everyone. Lovelies in the house. I see Jackie and Trish already. Good to see you. And here comes everybody else. Jocelyn, Denise, Francesca, Jane, Lucy. Hello. You know what today is, right? It's Soulful Saturday. Do you know what that means? Do you? Yes, you do. Looky here. New quote. I have grit, not quit. Guess what? I said that. Apparently made it to the quote deck. That's why you got the little smiley face there. How do you like that? Hey, Denise. Jocelyn. Hello, lovelies. Isn't it fun to be here? I think so. Just thought I'd throw that in there. We're wrapping up measurement from this week. It is wrapping up measurement this week. Oh, and by the way, I can also throw up a mindful mug because look, I have grit, not quit. Do you have this one, by the way? It should be going pretty quickly. Hey, Doris and Jane. She's having a sparkly Saturday. I think that's such a good way to have a Saturday. So the beauty support, by the way, buy 3, get 1 free. That's going pretty quick here. Don't lose your opportunity. I love beauty support. Love it, love it, love it. This is our own exclusive thing. So don't let it pass you by. I'm Martha. Good to see you. Hi, Doris and Angie in the house. I'm glad you're here. So that's important. Buy 3, get 1 free. That's a screaming deal. You're gonna save $50. Come on. I mean, hello. Who can say no to that? Take care of that. Make sure that you get it. This is part of the collagen trifecta, if you will. There's 3 parts to it. You want to be doing perfect paleo protein. You want to be doing bone broth, and you want to be doing beauty support. Actually, it's a quadrilateral, really, because you want to also be intermittently fasting. Sarah knows. She says beauty support's the best. It is the best. It's beyond measure. And that's what we've been talking about. All this week is measurement. And I was thinking about things that are measurable. You know, I always say and you were here for some of the shows, I say that it's immeasurable is your worth, right? Well, I've got something else that's also immeasurable that we're going to be talking about here in just a minute. Do you know we're sprinting again in a week? Not this week coming up, but next Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to be doing live the sprint webinar. You know why we do this? To remind you of why we do this and how it moves the needle and the science behind it, and to get the guide to you and get everything else to you. So it's really massively important. Hey, Lynn and Sarah and Patsy. So glad you're here. So that's really important. You want to get on that. Got it? Get on that. Make sure that you have the things that you need in your life to support you and make things happen for you. And that includes having the sprint guide. That's how you get it, is coming to the webinar, by the way, and all the other things. Hi, June. So I like that. So make sure that you're there. savingdinner.com/sprint. Also, we have Inner Circle is on waitlist for January when we'll be starting the next one. Now, remember, waitlist means first dibs are people who are already in. Second dibs are people on the wait list, and then it'll go to the rest of our email list saying, if you're interested, this is what's happening. Hi, Marguerite. So there you go. That's just so you know. The other thing that you have to know, that you need to know about, is Q&A happens every single Friday without fail. So unless you don't send in questions. So send them in to support@savingdinner.com. Question for Leanne on Friday is what you need to do. I'm sorry, I forgot to give you that. If you want to get on the Inner Circle list, go to savingdinner.com/circle. And we'll just let you know it's open. That doesn't obligate you. It's open for taking new participants. We did the holiday webinar. I'm particularly proud of that one because I looked at my own life as sort of the model and the framework for why do we need to do this. And this was the big thing that you needed to know. I looked at it like, what is the thing that makes everything fall apart? And I looked at how it's that decision-making thing that happens when we go to the grocery store or the big box store to buy the holiday candy. And that decision, I believe, is sometimes a decision to either set us up for failure or set us up for victory. The choice that we make of the candy that we buy. Now hear me, because sometimes if you buy candy corn versus buying Kit Kat bars, we're talking about most hated candy versus most beloved candy. That's going to be, that Kit Kat bar is going to be calling to me. I will hear it from the pantry versus that I have no interest whatsoever in ever opening up a bag of candy corn and eating it. Therefore, you be careful about what comes in. And then think about it. We discard the rest of we start falling down like that with the bloody candy. And then what happens? And then we just start thinking, oh, it's Thanksgiving. I got to get ready for this and I got to get ready for that. And I got to do all of this. And then what happens after that? Well, I just might as well, I'm off the rails now. I might as well just keep going. Gain 10 to 15 pounds at the end of the year. And I'll take care of it in the new year. We lose a whole year. We have 69 days left in this year. There is room and time to accomplish a goal or get started on something. You do not have to go off the rails. You do not have to default to fast food and other garbagey stuff that you don't need to do. I'm too busy being eye candy to buy real candy. Sarah, of course you are, Sarah. But the point is this. I want you to go and listen to this webinar. It was powerful, I felt. And we're using our tools to get in there and to get something done and to keep a plan going and on and on. November 4th, for anybody who has the Take Back Your Life journal, we're going to be doing a workshop on it so you'll know what to do and how to set this whole thing up for success, for screaming success. savingdinner.com/holiday. Go watch the webinar. It's short and sweet, but boy, it gets right in there and it goes right for the jugular. I'm not playing. I'm not here to play. Yeah, see, Jane hates Skittles. She buys Skittles. That's smart. Also, yes, I'm on TikTok now and Instagram. I just did a makeup tutorial that Caroline says was pretty funny. Hopefully you'll be seeing that soon. It's really funny and kind of crazy. What else do I have to tell you about? All this month, you know what we've been doing? We've been giving away an e-book bundle of crockpot recipes. Every time you buy something in the store, you get it sent immediately to you. How do you like that? $37 value, absolutely free. Just go buy something. You're smart. You're going to get your beauty support all bumped up. And that, my friends, takes us to the end of my crazy making. Here's all the things. Let's talk about the things. I found some really great quotes. It's interesting. When you look at a quote, oftentimes you'll say, oh, that's attributed to, that was Martin Luther. And then, no, it's Martin Luther King Jr. And sometimes quotes are mistakenly attributed to other people. Now, I'll tell you right now, I did not hunt this quote down to make sure that I'm giving the correct attribution, but I saw it twice in different people. So it's either Martin Luther or Martin Luther King Jr. I think it's Martin Luther King Jr. though. And it's this is it. And by the way, when I give you quotes that talk about the measure of a man or whatever, I'm always going to flip them to the measure of a woman. Because first of all, just cause. And second of all, I want you to personalize this. And, my audience is women. It's women. So let's do that. So here's what it is. The measure of a woman is not how she behaves in moments of comfort and convenience, but how she stands at times of controversy and challenge. That sounds more like Martin Luther King Jr., doesn't it, than Martin Luther? You remember Martin Luther? He's the one who knocked on the door and nailed the whatever it was. I can't remember the exact name. Once upon a time, I could have told you that on the door. So anyway, listen to that again. The measure of a woman is not how she behaves in moments of comfort and convenience, Now, we all behave well then, don't we? It's how she stands at times of controversy and challenge. Plato said that the measure of a woman is what she does with her power. Well, he was using man, but there you go. And I could pull out probably 14 more quotes that says the measure of a woman is this, the measure of a man is this, a measure is this and that and the other thing. But you know what it is? Is the fact is that we are immeasurable. But the power that we hold is somewhat measurable. And this is the thing that I want to talk about today is getting your power back in if you've mistakenly let it go. Because this is an important part of the measurement of our heart, mind, body, and soul. We can only be as powerful as the power that we attain and hold on to rather than the power that we are giving away. So, I believe too, especially with women, and as I say these things in woman, with the emphasis on the measure of a woman and how she behaves and all of this, when I say all of this, I believe that a lot of times because of cultural norms, how we were raised or whatever, that we find our power to be sleeping or dormant or not awake. We've allowed our power to not get used, maybe even atrophying a little bit. What about that? So I believe that having weak power like that is a lose-lose situation in times of challenge and controversy, because when it comes time for challenge and controversy, and I know that not a single one of you has ever been, opted out of that. We've all had challenge and controversies in our lives. It's part and parcel, right? But how's the measurement of your power holding up to that? Do you have it? Do you pull it out and do you use it? Are you aware of it? Do you know how to use it in an effective way? Those are the things that I think we need to be looking at as women, living in this world and trying our very best to do our very best. We can't do our very best unless we understand and maintain that personal power that we all have. And understand it is measured by the way we use it. Just like Martin Luther King Jr. said, that how she stands in times of controversy and challenge. And the measure of a woman is what she does with her power. I just think these are extraordinarily powerful. So what do we do with that? Because, we have to activate this power that we have. We have to activate it and decide to stand up for ourselves at times. There's times we're called to do that. And you know what? We find it so much easier to do for a child or our spouse or whatever. How often are we finding ourselves being able to do it for ourselves? And I think that is one of the things that I feel really called to do as part of my mission, as part of the thing that really causes me to feel like in full bloom, is to see women bloom. I see women bloom when they understand they have the power to bloom, that it's theirs and theirs alone, that it can't be taken away from you, and that there is no measurement for your power. But the measurement is the action, if you will, of using it. And I've got 10 steps for you, any of you who are having kind of sleepy power, dormant power, or just kind of wondering, like, I feel out of control because I don't feel like I have control over what's going on in my life. There's so many, let's say lots of ends and pieces that need to be tied together. So let's go through a little bit of this, because I think we measure ourselves small when we don't stand up for ourselves. And I want to see you measure yourself with the great abundance that you are. Okay? Now, number one, it's important to be transparent and honest. And when I say this, I think appropriate transparency. One time I was with this woman that I really loved, but she was inappropriately transparent with anyone and everyone who asked, "How are you?" She didn't just put on the party face and go, "Fine." She said instead, "You really want to know?" And here it all is, ladies and gentlemen. And I think it was almost she kind of got her kicks to watch people squirm when she really was honest and open like that. There are times when we need to be, you go into your therapist's office and your therapist says, hey, how are you doing? And you say, fine. Well, there goes, $150 or whatever you spend on your therapist. But that's not the time. That's the time for opening your kimono and just going, this is everything right here. But in social situations, we have to weigh and measure when we are opening this up. But honesty is never off the table, is my situation, is what I'm trying to say. And the transparency that we give out needs to be measured. That's a measurable thing. Your hairdresser, how are you doing? I'm doing okay. I had a tough week, but I'm really happy to see X, Y, and Z happening. That's a conversation that you're happening. That's just with you, the two of you. You see where I'm going with all this, right? Transparency, appropriate transparency, and at all times, honesty. Honesty keeps us dialed in to our authenticness of who we are. Without that, we find ourselves going down this, just constantly wearing a mask and constantly being pretend. And we know what that is, right? There's no way that we're ever going to be in that place of being able to fake our way through constantly without affecting our deep down, our self-esteem. So, I believe that people hear people who are honest, though. So if you say, like, for example, with your hairdresser, how are you doing? Better this week. It was hard last week. Oh, really? What happened? Just to kind of hit the top notes of it, unless she's like your best friend and you can pour your heart out, then, whatever. But then be sure to ask how their week went too. This is how we have a grown-up conversation. And this is also letting the person know it's not just about you, that you recognize that they have a life as well. That's one. The other thing is that, let's say that same hairdresser says, okay, so what do you think? I did your color a little different, or I cut this a little bit, your hair a little bit differently. You don't just say, oh, fine, and get in the car and start crying. You say, I'm not really loving it. I'd like to make an appointment next week to get this fixed because I'm not really loving this. It's your prerogative to say that, and it's the honest thing for you to say. And you don't have to say it with insulting, intentions to insult or whatever, but you do need to be honest. I believe that's a way that we take our power back. Not pretending all the time that everything's okay, because it just isn't, right? Number 2 is your body language. Now, when we did Take Back Your Life, which is a lot like how Inner Circle is, but Take Back Your Life was one of my first big programs, I would say. And we learned that when our body language is all hunched over and we're putting our head down and our voices are low, kind of like Eeyore, if you watch the Winnie the Pooh cartoons. But when you're all hunched over and down and what have you, if I were sitting here talking to you like this, what would you say? What would you think? You think, what the heck's wrong with her? Sit up straight. Put your chin up. Hold your head high. Didn't your mother say that? Hold your head high and walk away, or whatever. But there is truth to that, and it conveys a certain amount of power, not just to people who are observing, but to your body chemistry. Our body chemistry is different than when we're frowning and down and all hip like that. Listen to your mom. Go hold your head high and be aware of your tone and articulate exactly what it is that's going on and what you don't like about that haircut, for example. Number 3 is using your power could cause a knee-jerk reaction from other people who aren't used to you doing this. Have you ever noticed that? They're like, whoa, okay, yikes. That doesn't mean that we're coming off as unkind if they can't take it, if they can't take the heat, so to speak. It just means that, give them an opportunity to voice and say what they need to say, even if it's full of insults and what have you, and have the fortitude to just hear them out, hear them out. Discard what you need to hear from that conversation and discard, or you know what I'm saying. I'm sorry. Take in what you need to hear from that conversation. Just the facts, ma'am, kind of, dragnet style. Just the facts, ma'am. and discard the other stuff. You don't need to get into the needle, back and forth and back and forth. Remember the thing, when they go high, when they go low, we go high. Do that. Go high. Take the high road. But also, at the same token, if you find yourself being bullied, stepping up and saying, I'm not going to do the bully thing with you. I'm not going to allow you to bully. Reflect back what needs to be said. If this is a situation that needs to be addressed, address it. Only with the facts. And if the bullying happens, call out the bullying. This is hard stuff, but this is how we get our immeasurable power back. That's what this is about today. Number 4, it's so scary to do this, by the way. This is not fun and games, and this is not for the faint-hearted. This is for women who've realized and recognized that the power has slipped away. Where has it gone? It will go if you don't stand up for it. It will go if you don't voice your opinion and say what it is that you want. It will go if you just keep allowing for it to not be said. That's what happens. So, I would also really, my advice to anybody who's thinking about this is don't just, maybe you popped off before, but don't pop off in this place of personal power. Instead, just say, I need a minute to think about that so that you have a moment to process and come back with something that makes sense, that keeps you in control and allows you, on the other hand, to say what it is that you need to say without saying stuff that you have to apologize for later. You hear me on that? This is not for in other words, some people just really have a hard time with all of this. And then there's others that absolutely 100%, don't. So you need to know where you stand on all of this. And if this is popping off as something that you do, no more. Take a stand by saying, I need some time. That always makes a big difference. Number 5, can I just get you an amen out of this? Self-righteousness is loathsome, whether it's coming out of you or it's coming out of someone else. Nobody likes it. It's gross. It's disgusting. And when you see this, we don't have to act indignant. Instead, we just need to go again back to the whole Joe Friday thing of Dragnet, just the facts, ma'am. So when somebody is doing, if you're having a conversation that's difficult anyway, and then the self-righteous garbage starts to come in, just don't engage in that. This combativeness we see this all the time on social media now, don't we? Oh my gosh, it's awful. We see it on the news all the time. It is just horrible. And there's always someone who's got everything right and what have you. And again, self-righteousness is loathsome. Combative, accusatory, and emotive, what does that do? That gives full measure of your power away. We need to emote for the right things and the right stuff that we want. We're looking for a solution here oftentimes. And it won't come if we're not going to go straight for the facts. If we allow ourselves to get sidetracked by all the garbage and this emotional, whoop-de-doo, it's not going to work. Now, number 6, I say is shampoo, rinse, repeat, because we have, one of my favorite Robin Sharma sayings is what you focus on expands and what you dwell upon becomes your destiny. So what if we flipped our focus? Instead of focusing on the problem, we focus on the solution. We start focusing on the solution and we reclaim our power, because now we have energy to put towards something that's going to give us a return. Our power goes when it's all put on the problem. Because what happens? Think about what happens. Then we're complaining, then we're talking about it, then we're gossiping maybe even. Then it's just, think about where all of that goes. And I always say that we only have, I use this today, we only have so much power. We only have so much energy. It all fits in this cup. So if you're filling your cup with the wrong thing, you're not going to be able to get to that place of solution. You've used up all your time, you've used up all of your energy. So think about that. This is the reason I love this quote so much is it changed. It literally changed my life because it changed my what I was thinking about. When I started getting into this whole, hand-wringy problem thing and started instead looking at the solutions, I found solutions. How about that? Number 7 is passive aggressiveness is something that I just can't, even with it's being funny or sarcastic. No, it's not. You know what that is? That is just anger. That is what that is. It's anger just coming right out. You might as well be screaming at me. I get what passive aggressive is. You know what? We can be deliberate about our words, and we can remember this. Being forthright and straightforward and kind always, always wins. That's how you hold on to your power. Not by these little needle mark remarks and just trying to go under the radar and be cute. It's not. And it's a waste of time. And it's not good. I think sarcasm is something that, it's funny at times, but overly sarcastic people are they're grumpy and crotchety and no fun to be around. That's what I think. And I think I'm right on that one. So there you go. Number 8 is this, and I want you to underline this one write it out, put it on your fridge, on your bathroom mirror, whatever. No one can make you feel bad without your consent. Eleanor Roosevelt said that. And the very first time I heard that, I'll never forget it. My daughter and I were watching the movie, The Princess Diaries or whatever it was, whatever that movie was. And the Queen's attaché or whatever said this to the princess character. And she said, he said this to her, no one can make you feel bad without your consent. And the recognition she had on her face was like, whoa. And I have the same one. I don't know. I was like in my 40s when I heard this. No one can make you feel bad without your consent. In other words, you're giving up your power to that person because they are being jerks. Well, it doesn't mean that you need to give that up. That means that you can say, no, not on my watch. I'm not going to feel bad about feeling like this. And no, you cannot assign what you think I feel like. You don't know. I've had people do that before too. And I think that's one of the rudest things. Oh, you feel like this because, really? How dare you? Get off of my, get out of my head. You don't know anything. You cannot assign what you think somebody else does. And don't you do that to anyone else either. Not only is that rude, but it's presumptive. And it's also arrogant. How you are not God. You do not know. What we need to be doing instead is recognizing that when we give away our power and also when we try taking someone else's by being like that, it's just wrong. Absolutely wrong. So think about that. Have you been in that position where you just, and maybe even in the struggle of holding on to, not feeling bad? I get it. But we can always keep repeating things back that we need to hear over and over again. And one of these is no one can make you feel bad without your consent. We oftentimes, when I was a kid, he made me do it. Remember that? The devil made me do it. Flip Wilson, anyone? No. We have the ability to take personal responsibility for ourselves and also to get smart the whole thing and shut the doors when somebody tries to throw a whammy at you. You can repel that and say, you know what, I don't accept that. I have said that before, and I'll tell you what, that is an empowering statement. Number 9, hold on to your time. We talked about time such a great deal this week because time is this, we don't have a real measure on time. We have right now and today. We don't even know if we have the rest of the day, do we? But if we plan our time and hold on to our time in a way that allows, I believe, showing God that we consider this time precious and a gift, thank you very much, then we're going to hold on to it and push back a little bit so that we're not a pushover anymore for somebody who wants you to overly volunteer. And it's important, especially this time of year. People are going to be tapping on your shoulder and saying, hey, can you Xerox this for the whole class? Or can you go do this for me? Or can you pick up my kids or pick me up from the airport? Whatever. Uber, start going into the solution instead. And then the last one is number 10 is girlfriends, can I get your pinkies up on this one? To put on your big girl panties. This is what we need to do. This is how we grow up, grow into our power and maintain and hold on to it so that it's practically immeasurable. When we understand that this is what big girls do, that we don't have to ask permission to have an opinion, and that we have our own source of, understanding, that we have our own sources. I'm going to tell you the way of excellence. This is the truth. The way of excellence is just attempting to do these things. That's what it is. It's just attempting to do these things. You're not going to do it perfectly, I promise you. But the fact that you do it is an action in and of itself. The fact that you plan it. And if you don't get it right the first time, you can try it again. Our power and the power that we hold on to can be practically immeasurable when we understand that we, one, have it in the first place, and that two, if we're measured, if we're careful, if we're judicious about our time, if we're careful about our words, and we can help empower others, and we can be positive and have our minds set on the goal instead of on the problem, we're going to see things a whole lot different and start using our time a whole lot differently and more effectively as well. So what do you think? Are you ready to really see the full measure of what your power truly is and live in that place of using it for all good of womankind? I am. And I'm ready to see women get up and celebrate their power. Women are the needle movers in this whole entire world. They are. They are the hand that rocks the cradle. You've heard that one before. It's an oldie. But I'm going to tell you what, when you step into your power and start recognizing and realizing that you are a warrior for yourself and for other women around you, and that you deserve and you have the right to stand up and have a voice in your own life and a voice in your family. This is what we need to be doing. Because when we do, we not only wake up our own power, but we wake up the people around us and their power. And I don't know about you, but that's the kind of women I want to hang out with, right? Pinkies up. I see you all. So glad to have you here. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much, Sarah. That's so sweet. I appreciate you all. Next week, we're going to be back on Monday. We're dark tomorrow, as you know. That's what we do. We take Sundays off. I plan on just, I've got some projects and stuff, but, we'll see how I get through them. I might just say it's a jammy day. Who knows? My mother used to do that. I am my mother's daughter, after all. Peace be with you. I really appreciate you. Have a fabulous, wonderful day.
Thanks for watching. You can find us on YouTube on the Saving Dinner channel or on the Saving Dinner Facebook page. Check back daily for new episodes, Monday to Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern. If you missed the live show, you can watch the replay. Until next time, pinkies up.